What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Destiny 2 commentary. And there's a few things that have been going on with Destiny 2 lately that I kind of wanted to talk about. Some things I just noticed, actually, it was on, I think, the Bungie Facebook page, and some of my friends have been talking about the game at work. So I was very interested to see that they decided to announce, I believe it was at BlizzCon, that they were going to be letting people play Destiny 2, basically give them the base game for free on PC up until November 18th. And that's basically, you can go through, play the Red War campaign all the way up to level 20, and basically have the base game for free. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, they must be a little bit desperate if they're actually giving away the initial base game for free, because this doesn't make sense for Bungie or Activision. Normally they would make people have to buy the base game again just to get into the Forsaken content, which is what everyone wants to play right now. And the fact they're giving away for free just raised a couple of red flags for me, because I just thought that was really weird. I'm like, they're never going to pass up on money. It's kind of similar to the way that they always do sales of Overwatch, so that all the PC players will buy 2 or 3 more Smurf accounts and just put more free money in Blizzard Activision's pocket. So that seemed really weird. And then a couple days after that, they announced this new friend referral program, and I noticed when they were doing that, they were actually giving away one of the best exotic weapons in the game if you referred a friend to play Destiny 2. And that I kind of thought was really interesting too, because one of the biggest complaints about Forsaken in general was the drop rate of the exotics in the game and how it had been so hard to get exotics. And now here they were, all of a sudden, Bungie just saying, hey, refer a friend to the game and we're going to give you a free welfare exotic and an ornament that goes with it. And that just also blew me away quite a bit. Well, a few days after that, Activision actually announced, and it was covered in a couple of different articles, that they said they were not at all happy with the sales of Destiny 2 and the sales of Forsaken. So this basically directly contradicts a lot of what Bungie's been saying and a lot of what the Bungie and Destiny YouTubers have been talking about, with how Forsaken has brought everyone back to the game and Destiny's back and it's amazing and the franchise is saved and all that other stuff, because this apparently is not the case. Activision has gone on to say they're not happy with the player engagement numbers, they're just not making enough money off of Destiny 2, and overall they weren't very happy with the overall reception and financial results from Forsaken. They did say, it was a good expansion and everything, and I've even said that in my review that I did, that I thought Forsaken was a pretty good expansion. But the problem would be whether or not people would trust Bungie enough to come back to the game, and that's basically what Activision said. They said the reason that they went ahead and made the game free on the PC up through level 20 for the first little bit of it was basically to get some new players hopefully into the game. They wanted to kind of let people try it out for free to see if it would kind of hook them in, and then they would have to purchase Forsaken at that point if they wanted to keep playing. So that was kind of their plan. It was a little bit of a double-edged sword. Hey, we're going to give you something for free on the premise that we hope you spend more money once you get into the game. So I've had a couple of my friends asking about the game. They've actually started to play Forsaken a little bit, and they've started to play the base game a little bit because they're getting it for free on PC, and I'm just kind of like, if you don't like what you see in the first 10 or 20 levels, just don't even worry about it. But, it's not for everybody. So it's very interesting because this is not, Bungie has, of course, since Forsaken launched, tried to say that everything's been puppy dogs and rainbows, and player base is amazing and a very large number, and they're not losing players, and the game is saved. And if you listen to any of the Bungie YouTubers that love to try to hype up Destiny 2, you'd be hearing all the same thing. It's all sunshine and roses. But that's apparently not the case in Destiny land. Activision is not happy. Really not sure what this means for the future of the franchise, but Activision did say they are going to try to think of ways to create more cash flow and revenue from the game, because they were very concerned on their investor call in the third quarter at the end that they weren't getting enough out of the microtransactions with Destiny 2, and they just weren't making enough revenue off the game in general. As we all know, Activision is the king of getting microtransactions into their games and making a ton of money off of it, and it appears that they are going to start thinking of more ways to do that with Destiny 2. They said they're going to be working with Bungie. They're going to try to put more smaller content drops at a more, at a higher rate. So they're going to see, I guess, more little DLCs dropping. They're going to try to charge people for, and they're going to try to figure out a way to get people back engaged with the cash shop and spending more money. So a really, really interesting week for Destiny 2 and just these announcements that have come out since BlizzCon. And it's just really odd. But yeah, so essentially Activision Blizzard, I'm reading off one of the articles here, basically said they want to envision a path to make money off Destiny 2, where they have just a constant drip feed of payments from active players in the game for either cosmetic items or for expansion packs. They say they want to kind of follow the same approach that Fortnite does. So it just seems to be a lot of the same stuff we already had with the Destiny franchise that a lot of people complained about and didn't like, and they think maybe going back to that model is going to bring in more players. I don't know. What do you think about this, guys? I think this is a little ridiculous, to be honest. The way to bring people back into your game and get your community re-engaged is not to add in more microtransactions and try to get people engaged with the cash shop more. It's to put actual meaningful content into the game and have a developer that the community can actually trust. And basically what Activision is seeing now is all of the goodwill that they essentially burned with the first Destiny, the launch of Destiny 2, and then the way Bungie has just treated the community at every single turn. They've been dishonest with the community. They haven't treated the community very well at all. They've lied to the community at times about a lot of different things that were going on with the game, especially in the first Destiny. And it's just been one thing after the other with them. So even though they did actually do a pretty good job with the Forsaken expansion, people are just not coming back. They've said we've had enough. With the first year of the game, we're not willing to give Bungie another chance. And now Activision is seeing the financial repercussions of that. So there are rumors they've started on Destiny 3, which is kind of interesting considering Destiny 2 was just finally made a complete game with the Forsaken expansion. But who knows where the future of this franchise is going to go? Because if people haven't come back to Destiny 2, and with other games starting to come out now, I know Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is doing pretty well. Obviously Red Dead just came out, and that's drawn a lot of people away as well. Some pretty good games coming out this holiday season as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how Destiny 2 survives and stacks up. But this is just another reason I've said in past videos, you don't believe a developer when they talk to you about the amount of players they have, active players playing their game. We've heard Bungie say this over and over again about how healthy the game's population is, how many registered users, that's the key word they always use, they have playing the game. What that basically means, as I've said before, a registered user is anyone who's basically ever signed up for an account. So if you have a Battle.net account, they're counting you as part of the player population. Even if you haven't touched Destiny 2 since you bought the game. If you had 3 characters on the original Destiny, they were counting you as 3 players, even if you hadn't played Destiny on PlayStation or Xbox in like over a year. So that's what they do. They do the same thing with Overwatch. They're always saying like, oh, there's 20 million people that have bought the game, yet somehow it always takes 3 to 5 minutes to queue up for a competitive game. Or you just run into these ridiculously long queue times. Myself personally, even though I live in one of the largest cities in the United States, where Overwatch is very popular and esports are very popular, we still have incredibly long queue times to get in the games. But yeah, I'm sure there's 20 million people actually playing. Maybe 20 million people played during free weekend and they just decided to count those numbers, but the player numbers they tell you are never accurate. They're just kind of a statistic they use to impress their shareholders. So anytime they tell you we have X amount of registered users and the game is so healthy, don't believe what they're saying. This is actually evidence of that right now, because Bungie's been saying since Forsaken came out that the community was getting back into the game, and they were back to where they wanted to be, and it was going to be a strong, healthy game again with all the player base returning. They weren't bleeding players like crazy like they were initially. And now we're finding out that's not really the case, because Activision, who butters all the bread now since they have the contractual control of Destiny as a franchise, is not happy with the engagement. They said they're just not getting enough player re-engagement with the franchise. So who knows? We'll see what happens though with Destiny. It's going to be interesting to see. I noticed some of the Bungie developers, they came back out on Twitter and were talking about how they were so proud of Forsaken, despite what Activision was saying. So maybe there's going to be a little internal clash there, as we've seen. But I'm pretty sure Activision would win that one. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about the news that's come out recently. Let me know if you're still playing Destiny 2 Forsaken. I got to play it for a little while and did a review, which I'll put a link to down in the description if you want to check that out, if you're still on the fence about buying the game. Thought it was pretty good for the most part, but it's not anything that would bring me back into the game. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.